Back down the car, we approach her. Detectives let her know that they are there to speak about her ex-husband. She says, which one?
Quote,
"The probable cause affidavit is 11 pages long. Page 4 contains 4 words that prosecutors say changed everything about how investigators understood this case." Detectives walk up to a 51-year-old grandmother standing beside a gray minivan, bleach bottle still in her hand, and tell her they need to talk about her ex-husband.
she may look like a grandma, but authorities in Florida say she is a cold-blooded.
She doesn't ask which case. She doesn't ask what happened. According to the report, she simply says, "Which one?" Hold that image for a second, because that's the entire video right there. A woman wiping down a getaway vehicle with bleach and rags, asking police to clarify which murder they mean, like she's checking a delivery order. That's not a crime of passion. That's a checklist. Before we go deeper into what the case files actually show, make sure you're subscribed to the Dark Discovery Files, because we don't just cover the story, we follow the evidence. Start with the timestamp. Just after noon, a 911 call connects from a phone registered to a man named Timothy Fletcher in Hillsborough County, Florida. According to the call log later cited in pretrial filings, the line goes silent within seconds, then disconnects. Dispatch calls back. A woman answers. She tells the operator there's no emergency, that Fletcher was simply exercising, that no officer needs to respond. The call is logged, closed, and filed away. No one drives out. No one checks the address. That single canceled welfare check is the quiet hinge this entire case turns on, and we'll come back to it. Roughly 90 minutes later and 20-some miles north, in Manatee County, a different 911 call comes in. A teenage girl, hiding upstairs, tells dispatch that someone knocked on the front door, her father answered, and gunshots followed.
Manatee County 911, what's the address of the emergency?
Hi, I'm at, I don't know what just happened. I heard a knock on the door, my dad answered it, and I heard gunshots, and my dad ran upstairs. Please come send cops right now.
That is a 15-year-old girl hiding inside her home.
She describes a gray minivan speeding away and a figure in a hoodie carrying a large tote bag, the kind a delivery driver might carry.
It was like a silver van. It sped off. There was a person with like a big tote bag that probably had the gun in it. And the person was wearing like a gray hoodie. They seemed like...
Her father, 54-year-old David Scott, is rushed to the hospital.
Oh.
In a sweatshirt with a mask, with a Panera bag.
A Panera bag. It's an odd thing for a killer to be carrying, but it is a major clue. And deputies and paramedics...
Before he dies, he's asked who could have done this to him. His answer, according to investigators, possibly my ex-wife.
For his life, he told investigators who allegedly shot him.
The questions that the deputies asked him is, who could have done this to you? And he says, possibly my ex-wife.
Scott was rushed to the hospital.
2 men, 2 separate counties, 2 reported deaths within hours of each other, and one detail links them before forensics ever does. Both men had, at some point, been married to the same woman, Susan Avalon. Here's where the case stops looking like a domestic dispute and starts looking like a rout. Investigators pull surveillance footage from a Panera Bread roughly a mile and a half from the Scott residence. The video reportedly shows a woman entering, walking past the dine-in counter toward the third-party delivery pickup shelf, the spot reserved for Uber Eats and DoorDash orders, and leaving with a bag that was never hers.
And there they say they saw Susan Avalon inside.
He said that, I guess they caught her, the ex-wife, going to Panera Bread and stealing the to-go bags.
When?
Today, I guess, before this. And that's who the suspect was wearing, is a tote bag from Panera.
So they go to a local Panera Bread location, which is about a mile and a half from the scene, and they see the suspect, enter the Panera Bread, go to where the food delivery stand is located, where Uber Eats and DoorDash, goes to that location at Panera Bread, grabs some food, and leaves.
Not a meal, a prop, a way to look like someone who belongs on a doorstep at noon on a weekday. Detectives say that same tote bag is the one described by the teenager upstairs. License plate readers place a gray Honda Odyssey moving between counties that morning.
Said whoever killed her dad drove a silver van. And what did police do? They looked up what vehicle was registered to Susan Avalon, and it was a Honda Odyssey, a minivan. The color was...
Tracing a route prosecutors would later argue went from Citrus County, where Avalon lived, into Hillsborough County, then across the Sunshine Skyway Bridge into Manatee County. The same path, they allege, connecting one address to the next. Two homes. Two men who once shared her last name.
What happened?
Susan Avalon is accused of going on a killing spree, taking the lives of not just one of her ex-husbands, but
one vehicle, threading them together like a single sentence written in tire tracks. Ask yourself this. If a 45-minute drive can be reconstructed down to the bridge she crossed, why did it take police almost a full day to realize the first man was already dead? That canceled welfare check is the answer.
Tampa. I want you to look at this pretrial detention document that we found. And it says, on the same day that Fletcher was killed, his phone allegedly made a 911 call around 12:40 in the afternoon. And prosecutors say when they listened to that call, and it has yet to be released to the public, prosecutors allege you can hear gunshots on that call and then it hangs up. The dispatch then calls that phone number back, and a woman answers the phone, according to prosecutors. And that woman told dispatch, no problem here. She was just exercising, and there was no need to send it.
Because no one walked into Fletcher's home that afternoon, his body wasn't discovered until investigators, working backward from the second shooting, started asking who else in Avalon's life might be in danger. They found his name. They went to check on him. By then, hours had already passed, hours during which, according to the timeline laid out in court filings, Avalon had already crossed 2 county lines and knocked on a second door. When detectives finally located her outside her Citrus County home, she wasn't fleeing. She was cleaning.
It is chilling. Police say they went to Susan's home, which is in Citrus County, Florida, and as they were waiting on a search warrant to go inside, they saw her come out of the house, and she got into that silver minivan. And in her hands, she allegedly had bleach and rags. So police, they moved in to arrest her.
Come here. Oh, what happened? Hey. Come on.
Hey, back there. Get the back door. Get the back door.
Bleach. Rags. A car interior being wiped down in broad daylight while officers waited on a search warrant. And when they told her this was about her ex-husband, she gave them 2 words that now sit at the center of a death penalty case. Which one? Which one? Say it slowly, and it stops sounding like confusion and starts sounding like inventory. Avalon now faces premeditated first-degree murder charges in Hillsborough County, where prosecutors have filed notice they intend to seek the death penalty, and a second-degree murder charge with a firearm in Manatee County, where capital punishment isn't on the table.
Firearm. And that charge does not allow for the death penalty. But again, the Tampa prosecutors, Hillsborough County, they are going for the death penalty against Susan Avalon. These cases are still separate. Now, clearly, there is a connection that goes back years between
2 separate courtrooms, 2 separate juries, 1 woman, 2 men who used to call her wife.
She's just uncomfortable because she says she has health issues. Now, this is an image of Susan Avalon appearing in court. In the case that is playing out in Tampa, that's the death of Timothy Fletcher, who she allegedly killed before driving to Manatee County and killing her other ex-husband, David Scott. Susan Avalon is charged with premeditated first-degree murder. And prosecutors in that case have...
Investigators have not released an official motive, and nothing in the public record confirms what was happening inside that relationship history in the weeks before the shootings. But court filings do confirm one detail prosecutors consider significant: the silence on that first 911 call and the voice that filled it. A voice telling dispatch there was nothing to worry about. Which one? What still doesn't add up is the dispatcher's decision to cancel that welfare check based on a single reassurance from an unidentified caller. A decision now under public scrutiny, with the responding agency standing by its own protocol.
Arrested the next day, and not until after she allegedly killed another man in another county. Now, Tampa police were asked about this by a local television station, 10 News in Tampa, and Tampa police stands by their dispatcher. They say the dispatcher didn't...
If that check had gone forward, Would David Scott still be alive this morning? That's not a question this case file answers. It's one only the timeline can raise. We're not going to speculate about what was said behind closed doors in that marriage or the one that came after it. We're going to point you to the source instead. The probable cause affidavit and pretrial detention order in this case are public record, filed in Hillsborough and Manatee County court systems, and they lay out the call logs, the license plate data, and the surveillance timeline in far more detail than any broadcast segment will show you. Pull them, read the dispatcher's call notes for yourself, and then tell us in the comments. Do you think that canceled welfare check changed the outcome of this case? Or was the second death already set in motion the moment she got in that van? If this case unsettled you the way it unsettled us, hit like, share it with someone who needs to see how close evidence and instinct can run together, subscribe to the Dark Discovery Files, and turn on notifications, because we follow these cases until the courtroom closes the file, not before.